All right, I would like to take a look now at the product rule for derivatives. All right, so product rule says that if a function, or sorry, if you have functions g and h such that a function f is defined as the product of the functions g and h, so f is equal to g times h, then the derivative of f is given by this expression. The derivative of f is going to be g, the first function, times the derivative of h, the derivative of the second function, plus the derivative of g times h. So each function is multiplied by the other function's derivative, and then the two functions are added together. Those two products are added together, I mean. All right, so let's take a look at this example here. It says find the derivative of f of x equals x cubed times the sine of x cubed sine x, okay? We have two factors here. One of the factors is x to the third power. The other factor is sine of x. That's one way of looking at this expression. So we actually have this first part. The function f is defined to be two functions multiplied. The function g is a function of x, and it is actually x to the third power. And the function h is a function of x, and it's actually the sine of x, that trig function, okay? Now, in order to find the derivative of f, what we have to do is we have to use the formula here. This is how we find the derivative of f. So we had these two. We know that g is this one and h is this one. We made those definitions. So that f prime of x would be equal to g. Well, the function g is x to the third power. So let's write that in, x to the third. But that's going to be multiplied by h prime. Well, the derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. So cosine of x. And that's this first term. Is g, the first function, times the derivative of the second function, the derivative of h. Derivative of sine is cosine. Then we have plus, so that's plus, and then it's going to be g prime. Well, g prime is the derivative of this function. And the derivative of this function by the product rule is going to be 3, the exponent, times x to the 3 minus 1, or second power. That's by the simple power rule. So that's g prime, the derivative of g, multiplied by h. H is this original function, which is the sine of x. Okay, once we found f prime, once we found the derivative, this is the derivative of this original function here, the derivative of this function. It involves the derivative of both of these functions and the functions themselves. So there's three things going on. We have the function f. We have f actually being defined as g times h. And then this is the derivative of f. All right. What we're going to do with the derivative of f now is we're going to factor. We have here a common factor, x. We're going to take out the smallest power of x we see, which is x squared. If we factor out an x squared, this first term would be left with one factor of x and a factor cosine x. So that's x cosine x. And then plus sine. And then this one over here would be left with a factor of 3 and a factor of sine x. 3 sine x. And this would be the final answer. This is the derivative. Actually, it was the derivative on this step. This step is the derivative. This is just a simplified version or factored version of the derivative. All right. So this is the product rule. You use the product rule when you have a product of two functions of a single independent variable. So, all right.